Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the creepiest legends the internet has ever created. The story of Slenderman. From a simple Photoshop contest post to a full-blown modern myth, this faceless figure has haunted forums, forests, and even real life. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see just how a monster born online became something much darker. Picture this. It's June 2009, and on a forum called Something Awful, a user named Victor Surge posts two black and white photos. Kids playing in a yard, a school gym, normal stuff, except for one detail. In the background of each, barely visible, stands a tall, skinny figure in a suit. No face. Just there. The captions claim these are recovered photos from the 1980s with ominous notes about missing children and fires. That's it. That's the entire origin of Slenderman. A throwaway post in a Photoshop contest meant to spook people for laughs. But here's where it gets interesting. Forum users didn't just nod and move on. They started adding to it. Someone said his arms could stretch. Another claimed he made you forget things. Within weeks, Slenderman had a backstory, powers, even a pattern of behavior, all invented by strangers online. Folklorists call this communal corroboration. When enough people repeat something, even if it's fiction, it starts to feel real. And Slenderman spread faster than any folktale ever could, because the internet doesn't sleep. The details got wilder. People wrote fake police reports about him. They photoshopped him into family vacation pics. Fan fiction popped up about kids vanishing in forests. By 2010, Slenderman wasn't just a meme anymore. He was a full-blown myth, evolving daily. Eric Knudsen, the guy who first posted those pictures, had zero control over it. He'd created an open-source nightmare. Traditional monsters take centuries to develop. Slenderman did it in months. What's fascinating is how specific traits stuck. The suit, the facelessness, the way he never speaks, just watches. Those weren't in the original post. They emerged from the collective brain of the internet. Even Knudsen was surprised. He'd mixed inspiration from Lovecraft and Stephen King, but this thing took on a life of its own. And it worked. Because he left just enough blank space. No rules, no explanations, just a creepy silhouette waiting for people to project their fears onto. That blankness is key. No one owns Slenderman. There's no correct version, which meant anyone could add their own twist, and thousands did. By the time Knudsen tried to copyright the name years later, it was too late. The myth had already escaped into the wild, and the internet was just getting started with it. Slenderman isn't the first faceless thing to haunt our nightmares. Every culture has one. Slavic folklore gave us Baba Yaga, the grinning witch who kidnaps children. The Appalachian Mountains have the Mothman, a shadow with glowing red eyes. What makes these monsters stick isn't just their appearance. It's what they represent. They're predators with no clear motive, no rules. Slenderman fits right in, but with a modern twist. Instead of hiding in fairy tales, he thrives in digital spaces, feeding on the uncertainty of the internet age. His powers aren't random, they mirror stuff we fear every day. Teleportation. That's the panic of seeing someone online in one place, then suddenly somewhere else. Memory loss. Ever scrolled so long you forgot what time it was? Slenderman turns screen time into horror. His facelessness triggers something deep in our brains called the uncanny valley. We're wired to recognize human shapes, but when details are missing, no eyes, no mouth, our instincts scream wrong. It's why bad VR avatars creep us out, and Slenderman weaponizes it perfectly. The creepiest part? He adapts. Early versions just stood in photos. Then came the tentacle arms, the static-filled glitches, the way he makes victims obsessively document their own deaths. Each edition reflected what scared internet users most at the time. Data breaches, surveillance culture, the way our devices seem to know too much. Compare that to classic monsters like vampires or werewolves, whose rules stayed the same for centuries. Slenderman mutates faster than Folklore because he's built by a hive mind of anxious people. Web series like Marble Hornets took this further by pretending to be real footage. Grainy camera shakes, distorted audio, timestamps, all the tricks that make conspiracy theories feel credible. The less polished it looked, the more people leaned in, caught between "this is fake" and "but what if?" Online, truth doesn't matter as much as vibes. Slenderman thrives in that gap. But here's the thing about monsters that reflect our fears. Sometimes the reflection gets too real. In 2014, 2 girls in Wisconsin took the myth literally, proving how fragile the line between fiction and reality can be. And that's when Slenderman stopped being just a story. On May 31st, 2014, in Waukesha, Wisconsin, 2 12-year-old girls led their friend into the woods with a plan. They stabbed her 19 times and left her to die. When questioned, they admitted they did it for Slenderman. They believed if they killed someone, he'd let them live in his mansion in the forest. A passing bicyclist found their bleeding victim crawling toward the road. That's the only reason she survived. Police reports revealed the girls genuinely thought Slenderman was real. One told investigators he could teleport and read minds. They'd read countless creepypasta stories online, piecing together his mythology from Tumblr posts and wiki pages. Forensic psychiatrists later called this mythic reality. When immersive fiction overrides logic so completely, it becomes truth in someone's mind. The girls weren't pretending. They truly believed they'd earn his approval through violence. The case sparked fierce debate. Was Slenderman to blame? Or was he just a symbol for deeper issues? The girls' internet history showed months of consuming grim fan fiction where Slenderman demanded blood sacrifices. Some stories even described his proxies committing murders to join him. Online communities had normalized this lore through repetition, turning a horror trope into something resembling instructions. Eric Knudsen, Slenderman's creator, released a statement expressing grief over the attack. He never intended his Photoshop experiment to influence real violence. But once something enters the internet ecosystem, control vanishes. Weeks after the Wisconsin case, a 13-year-old in Ohio attacked her mother with a knife, screaming about Slenderman. The myth had crossed into reality more than once. What's chilling is how ordinary the Wisconsin girls seemed before this. Honor students, quiet kids. Nothing pointed to violence until Slenderman's mythology consumed them. The court transcripts read like horror scripts, with one girl claiming she spoke to fictional characters like Voldemort daily. Their grasp on reality had fully eroded, warped by stories they helped amplify online. The fallout forced questions we're still grappling with. At what point does collective storytelling become dangerous? Can fiction mold behavior, or was Slenderman just a convenient excuse? Either way, the case proved myths aren't harmless when belief runs deep enough. And in the digital age, they spread faster than we can comprehend. The moment. Slender, the 8 pages. Dropped in 2012, it proved something terrifying. Literally. The free indie game where you collect pages while a faceless horror hunts you hit 2 million downloads in a month. No fancy graphics, no complex mechanics, just darkness, a shaky flashlight, and the dread of seeing that silhouette get closer every time you turned around. Suddenly, everyone wanted a piece of Slenderman. Knockoff games flooded Steam. Mobile apps like Slenderman Shadow shot to the top of the charts. Even YouTube became a factory for Slenderman content, with series like Everyman Hybrid and Tribe 12 turning him into a jump scare franchise. But here's the twist. The creator never saw this coming. Eric Knudsen copyrighted the name Slenderman in 2010, but it was already too late. The myth had spilled beyond his control. He'd wanted something scary and disturbing and kind of different. Not a merchandising goldmine. Fan-made games and movies kept popping up, some crediting him, others ignoring him completely. The 2018 Hollywood film Slenderman tried to package the myth for mainstream audiences, but it flopped. Because you can't tame something that belongs to everyone. That's what makes Slenderman unique. He's crowdsourced IP, a monster built by thousands of people adding their own nightmares to the pile. Academics call it communal storytelling. But really, it's the internet doing what it does best, taking something weird and running with it. Profit wasn't the point, until it was. Knudsen never monetized his creation, but others did. The games, the merch, the low-budget films, they turned fear into an industry. Yet Slenderman resisted becoming just another horror mascot. Unlike Freddy or Jason, he doesn't have a backstory you can pin down. He's blank on purpose. That's why he still works. No studio owns him. No writer can definitively say what he is. He's a ghost in the machine, shifting shape depending on who's telling the story. Even after the Wisconsin attack, after the lawsuits, after the Hollywood flop, he lingers. Because the truth is, we like being scared. Especially when we're the ones feeding the monster. So why do we keep doing it?
Slenderman didn't just stick around. He became part of how we talk about fear. Think about it. Every time someone posts a blurry woods photo or whispers about something watching, they're using his language. Folklore experts say this is how myths used to spread before books, around campfires, changing with each telling. Now it happens in forums and Discord servers. The scary part? He's proof stories don't need centuries to feel real. Just enough people whispering them online. So next time you're alone at night, and your brain conjures that tall silhouette, ask yourself who's really in control. The monster, or the crowd that keeps resurrecting him?